Watercolor surprises are what I'm painting today. I don't know what I'm going to create, but let's get started anyway. Well, here we are. I'm using today a piece of slightly smaller than the last video, 10 by 7 watercolor paper from Meeden. This is the paper I choose to use. It's probably one of the best out there at the moment for beginners because it has all the characteristics of the best papers, but less of the cost. So what I'm going to do, I am going to probably be using roughly the same colors that I used recently, which is rose madder, indigo, natural beige, and burnt sienna. And I'm going to put those colors on here, onto this piece of paper, and see what happens. Because this week is all about seeing what happens. Now, if we discover leaves or flowers in here, then we will discover leaves and flowers. But if we don't, then we won't. I'm just going to put in some various shapes. It's actually interesting, isn't it, when you start to do something which is supposed to be free, how inhibited you find yourself to be pretty much straight away. And you find you're trying to create something that is something. And what I'm trying to do now is to create something that isn't something, but that something might emerge from, if you get what I'm meaning. I'm not going to go right up to the edge, and I am going to try to remember to let the paint mix and mingle. And I'm also going to try to remember to use all 4 colors. So we've got here is indigo, that's rose madder, this is natural beige, and that's raw sienna, burnt sienna. And this, you could say, is a kind of loosening up of what we did in the last video, which was basically squares. And this one, we're trying another technique. We will see. It reminds me a little bit of things like neurographic art, you know, where you do the lines and then you fill in. And so I'm deliberately restricting my palette here. If you make a shape that you don't like, just break it up, you know. We're using a number 8 Princeton Aqua Elite. I'm getting through quite a lot of paint, more paint than you would if you were painting a real thing, you know. I was toying with the idea this morning of painting a Mediterranean scene, something like a blue door, you know, you've seen that painted a few times. I bet probably even might possess such a painting. But I couldn't get enthusiastic about it. So I didn't do it. You can't dictate your moods, can you? You can't make yourself do something. Well, you can, I suppose, but that's not what we're all about, is it? Okay, so having done that, I'm now going to texturize it, which means I take a piece of kitchen towel and I'm not going to try very hard. I'm going to put this on top here like that. Not going to press it down, just lay it down. And then I'm going to paint actually just water on top. I haven't done this before. I've done it with paint on paint, but I'm going to try it with water on paint. And then we're going to end up with a very wet piece of paper, and we can decide whether or not we're going to let it dry naturally or whether or not we're going to dry it with a hairdryer. Knowing me and my general impatient nature, I'll probably opt for the hairdryer thing. But whether or not I dry the whole thing with the paper on top, or whether I just take the paper off, because it will have absorbed quite a lot of paint from underneath, we can just lift it up and have a quick peek. Yes, there's lots of things going on under there. So what do I do? Do I paint? Sorry, do I dry with the paper on? Or do I let it continue to react? I don't know. Just trying to make sure that it's touching everywhere. But I'm really actually using the brush very, very lightly. Okay, well, I didn't do it like that before. What I'm going to do this time then, I'll do something different. I'm headed for the hairdryer. Okay, so there we are. We've got some wonderful texture there on this background that we've now created. And I think the thing to do now is to basically embellish it with, and I think I'm going to go for a kind of vertical orientation here a little bit. It's up to you exactly how you start this. There's many different ways that you could do it. I kind of suggest that perhaps the first thing to do is to pick up whichever it is of your pens and other markers and things that you like the most and let that inspire you. That's probably what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to move the paints out of the way because I don't think I'll be using them anymore at this point. And so what I've got here is my Fudenosuke. It's a kind of thick and thin brush pen that's good for calligraphy. And I quite like this because, well, it seems to have a certain kind of expressiveness in it, which is nice. And not quite sure where to start, but you could either start at the top or the bottom. And we can come in and we can do sort of shapes. We can take our time. We don't need to rush. We don't need to do anything specific. Probably a good idea to do something that just what comes out the end of your pen, really, whatever that might be. And we're all different, aren't we? If you follow the lines of the pattern underneath, sometimes that's probably a good thing to do. I would vary the size and vary the pressure, so coming down hard sometimes like that. Other times just really light like that. And hopefully you can see this clearly. You don't have to go all the way up to the top if you don't want to, but you could do. You could start off with one that goes all the way up. See how nice and thick that comes when you press hard? So we just go all the way up to here, and then I think I'll kind of drift away into little dots into the distance. So that's the first row. And then we'll swap to something different. And we could come in with some gold, for example. This is my large gold pen, and we could do some gold leaves. I'll just come up here. And they're not going to be super noticeable. You know, like I said on the one that we did the other day, I think sometimes you just want things to be in the background, just sitting there, creating texture. And so then I'll come back to my thinner pen and I'm going to connect them. Like that. Okay, and we could put a few more in. Empty ones are always good. I think they're quite fun. I'm sure we will have lots of really good ideas for how to embellish this. And then one of my favourites is my dots. And I've got my white dot pen here, which is the Artex acrylic marker. And I think I'll just do a bit like, I don't know, is it like snow? All the way up to the top, little dots. I might do another one further over. And one of my favourite, motifs is, of course, leaves. So I can see here we have a few outstanding leaves. So I'm going to go around them with my thick and thin Kuretake pen. There's one here. You might find something different entirely in your painting. But I think because, I don't know, I seem to be quite interested in leaves these days. So that's what kind of comes out, I suppose. So anyway, we'll do that. The leaf motif seems to me to be very important in this day and age, doesn't it? Because we're so busy killing nature. If we can just kind of, I don't know, so perhaps people will be able to remember it when it's no longer there. I've been in Cyprus for 3 weeks now, and one of the things we were just saying to each other yesterday is how surprised we are by how quiet it is here. I know the fridge was making a noise a minute ago, I had to turn it off, but in general, night times are really peaceful, and it's quite strange because it's a very small island with 1 million people and 1.5 million cats, but it still seems really, really quiet. I don't know, the people here are so gentle, really. Okay, so let's use our white brush pen now for something. I'm not sure what yet. Come down over the top of these white areas, perhaps. I'd like to push out a bit more ink. Okay, there's that. And did say we would have some more dots. So we'll do more dots here. This painting would be a good one to do as a warm-up, really, because it's nothing, you know, it's not got any particular goal in mind, or it's not trying to be anything specific. It's just a way of using your pens. It's amazing how many different kinds of pens are available now, you know, marker pens of various different sorts, and they're always on offer on Amazon, and I can't help feeling that a lot of people must have drawers and drawers of pens and they don't know what to do with them. But this is probably one thing that you could do. So let's go back to this one and maybe also put some circles around some of these dots. And then maybe we'll use our white pen. This one here is working. And let's do some spirals here amongst these leaves, which look a bit like roses, which is quite nice. We'll put that over the dark areas. There's something quite satisfying about building up texture which is what we're doing here. We're just playing, taking hints from what we see. This almost looks like a little piece of seaweed or something there, so let's ruin that by going over it. I don't mean ruin it really, I'm just joking. There's several of them down here, so let's use those as a mini background. And another one here. This is one of the ones that won't be very visible. And down here. Need one here too. And I think we need a little bit more of the dark colour, so I shall go to my regular 0.5 pen here, and maybe I'll just do something with these. They're a bit leaf-like, but different from the others. Okay, and anything else? Do we need anything else? Put some circles here. It's like little bubbles of air rising up. Well, there we are. I'm going to stop in a minute. I hope you enjoyed that. It was a relaxing thing to do, I think, easy, and something to do before you actually start on your painting for the day, perhaps just to warm yourself up. I did it the other way around today. I did a bigger one and then I did this one, but it probably would have been more enjoyable if I'd done it the other way around. And looking at this now, I'm just thinking, I'm not quite finished because I want to put, I'm going to use the fatter one, I think, because it'll be a bit quicker. I want to put some gold on these dark parts of these leaves. You feel as if you're designing a piece of fabric or a carpet or, you know, rug, something like that when you're doing something like this, because you know how they, when they're doing rugs, for example, they build up the texture with different colours and different designs, different patterns. Right, so I think that looks reasonably balanced. It's the only thing you're aiming for, just trying to get some sense of balance. And I'm going to stop there, so I'll say I hope you enjoyed that again, and I will see you again in a few days. Take care of yourself, look after the ones you love, and I will see you soon. So I'll say bye for now, everybody. Bye-bye.